Hi everyone, it's Heather Cooper here. Hi. And I just wanted to do a review of the new Stampin' Up! Paper Trimmer. This is also going to be on my November newsletter, which hopefully will come out in the next couple of days. Lost a couple of days traveling down to Vancouver for some Stampin' Up! Training. But it's almost ready to go, so it won't take long. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you, or nice to know that you're watching. So I just wanted to go over some of the features of the new trimmer and show you some of the benefits of it. And then I'll let you make your own decisions about it. But we've been out without one for a little while, so I know some of you are champing at the bit to have a trimmer and to know what kind of quality that you would be getting. So I'll just get on with it. Okay, so this is the trimmer. I'll just hold it up here so that you can see it. You can see that it's fairly similar in shape and size to the old trimmer. But there are some significant differences to it. This is what the old trimmer looks like. I'll just get that up here so that you can see. Let me see if I can do this without being too awkward. But awkward is my middle name, so we can't help that. Okay. All right. So some things that you will notice right away. This old trimmer had a grid, and the new trimmer has lines, but the new trimmer has a measurement, a ruler, midway, whereas the old trimmer doesn't. Okay. The new trimmer has, let me put that down for a minute. The new trimmer has a wider space after the cutting line here, or the cutting groove. So there, it goes up to 1.5 inches, where the old one went up to 1.25, which is a little bit nicer. The one thing that you'll notice is that the extender arm is flat, and you can see the it doesn't go tuck underneath, it stays on top, whereas on this one, the extender arm kind of disappears underneath. Okay, there's a couple of benefits to this. One is that it provides a guide right along here at the 6-inch mark. So when you're cutting, when you want to cut your paper at 6 inches, let's say, so you measure it up at 6 inches. It butts right against that cutting guide on the arm there, and you get a nice accurate cut at 6 inches. Let's move it over so you can see it there. So it does help to provide some stability that way. The other thing with this new one is that you can see the 6-inch mark on this one. After 6 inches, when you extend the arm on this one, there was kind of a gap that made it really hard to make any kind of measurement between 6 and 7 inches. I don't know if you can see that. I'll just move it a little bit closer to the camera. So there was this big no man's land gap in there, and very little in the way of markings, so that you were kind of at a loss. You had to do a lot of guessing after 6.25 inches. Yeah, it was really hard to do your measurements in there. So what I really like about the new one, put that back, is that when you extend it, you have seamless measurements right along there. That's okay, Rebecca. When kids call, you gotta go. You can always watch the replay afterwards. Okay, so as you go right along here, there's seamless measurements right there. So that part I really, really like. The other thing that really makes it easy is that right in this area where you're cutting very small pieces, there's a lot more, I don't know if you can see this, there's a lot more of the guides to make it easier to cut, that you have more support when you're cutting small measurements, like, you know, cutting 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch pieces. There are a lot more of these in there. The little arms that come up to support your piece of paper when you're doing the cutting, as opposed to the old trimmer where there was nothing in between here. It was bare of supports there. So I find that makes it really easy to get straighter cuts that don't wobble or move on you. Okay, so it holds them in place. The arm, you know, it kind of locks itself. We had to, on the old one, we had a little latch at the top that would lock the arm in place. But this trimmer kind of has a little, what would you call it? A little extended bump on there that this kind of locks down on. But it's not, I don't find it difficult to lift up, but it just makes it a little more snug and holds your paper a little snugger in place. There is a ruler going down vertically as well. It's only in, it's not in metric, it's only in imperial, so in inches. So those of you who like to cut in metric might find that a little more difficult. You have metric everywhere else except on there. So that's a bit of a drawback. It won't bother me because I always use inches. And so that it's not an issue for me. It might be an issue for those of you who like to use the metric. Okay, on the back, another thing that's different on the back is there's no storage. I never used the storage, so I won't miss that. Some of you may have used the storage, and so that might be something you're sad to say goodbye to, but it isn't an issue for me. And then let's get to the real point of this whole thing, which are the blades. I've found the blades to be amazing so far. I haven't changed one. I've had it since the beginning of October, and I've prepped several classes, some really big ones, and I haven't had to change a blade yet. And we know, for me, regularly, I would have had to change at least one blade so far. So haven't had to do that yet, so I've been really pleased. One thing, I'm just going to remove a blade here. So there's a little notch and you just lift. Now it's going to, there. You just lift. And I'm going to try and hold that right up to the camera so you can see the depth of the blade there. So I don't know if you can see that. I don't want it to be too blurry for you. I don't know if you can catch that. Anyway, the blade is so much bigger than the little blades on the other ones. Let's see if I can compare for you. Let's see if I can lift up a blade from the other one. Okay, so this is the size of the blade. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. See, it's so small you can't really even see it. Yeah, there. There's a shot of the blade on the old ones, and here's a shot of the blade on the new ones. You see the difference? And you can actually see the the curvature of it. So you can see like how sharp the blades would be. It's hard to get the focus on them. Anyway, so much better and easy to change. So that's the cutting blade. Let's see if I can get this back in there. So there's a little notch in the track and a couple of little feet here, and you just slide the feet in one by one and they go in and out. The scoring blade looks kind of like that, and it does a pretty good job as well. Okay, I thought maybe I would cut a few things to show you how it does. So I'll start with a piece of designer series paper. And this is not a brand new blade. Rebecca's asking, does it have wire, I think, in the track, so you can see with the blades, so you can see exactly where you were cutting or scoring? Well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. There are little markings on top of the blades, which you might find a little hard to see, but there's vertically there's a couple, and horizontally they have little lines. And the little lines you can match up with the vertical, the little vertical lines you can match up. Like, they don't have a pointer, but they do have a line on the blade itself, not the blade itself, but the blade holder. So you can, that matches up, you can see exactly where you're cutting there. So you can stop along the lines vertically, and then horizontally there's also a little line on the track on the blades, so that you can see exactly whereabouts that it's cutting. So I don't know if that's what you were asking, but hopefully that answers your question. Hi, Amy. Good to see you. Made it home safely from Vancouver. Hopefully, obviously. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the blades are great. I thought I would do some cardstock that's been embossed, because sometimes when you emboss cardstock, it softens the fibers in the paper, and then that can make it really hard to get a nice clean cut. So I thought I'd try cutting some embossed paper, see how that works. And that is a nice clean cut. We don't have any ragged edges on that. Let's see if I can show you against something dark. Hopefully you can see that. Nice clean cut there. What else can I cut? Cut some foil. Show you that. Oops, I didn't hold that in place very well. There. So that cuts really nicely. This is some foil-based DSP. Again, pretty much cuts like butter. Vellum. something that's quite delicate. Let's see how it does with that. Nice cut through the vellum. Regular colored cardstock. Now here's the cool part. With our other trimmer, I could never cut more than one piece of cardstock at a time. With this one, voila, 2 pieces. Hi Diane, good to see you. So you can cut through 2 layers. I've heard people cutting through more than 2 layers, which is kind of cool. But I don't know if I'd try more than 2, just for accuracy's sake. I like to keep it down to less than that. Let's see. Oh, one thing I haven't done is to take off the plastic coating. So I just wanted to make you aware that there is a plastic coating that you will want to take off because it will get ragged after a while. So all the white areas of your trimmer will have plastic coating on it. And I've resisted pulling them off until I did the review so that I could show you that there is plastic coating on here and that you should take it off. Some of you don't like to though, because you like to protect yours as long as you have to, but it's really not necessary because Stampin' Up goes to great lengths to keep the surface really easily cleaned and and protected so that you don't. This is what I like about our trimmers, is that the measurements don't wear off. I have some really expensive trimmers that, or paper cutters, where the measurements have just worn right off and I can't tell what they are anymore. So that's another thing I love about Stampin' Up paper trimmers. So if you have any other, maybe you might want to see how it scores. So I'll do a score, I guess, in this. So I'll just move my cutting blade up and then just use the scoring blade. And I find a couple of runs through to get a good score, unless you have really delicate material like vellum. So that, can you see the score line through that? So that's a pretty good score. And it folds over quite easily with that scoring blade. So there's a score for you. With vellum, I probably would just score once and I wouldn't press too hard. There's the vellum. And you got a pretty good score with a very light touch to the... Well, that was really bad. Maybe this is tough vellum. Maybe I need more. Let's try it again. And that was a cut. I could feel that. So somewhere in between those two. All right, so that's the scoring blade. Anything else that you have questions about? If not, I think that's all I need to tell you about it. I was looking to see my notes, see if there's anything else I wanted to say. Nope, I'm really happy about it. I really, really like it. You can buy, the other thing I like is that when you need to get more blades, they come in packs of 4, not 2. And I don't anticipate needing to buy them in great bunches because they are lasting much longer. So they seem to be really good quality as opposed to our old ones. So I think you're going to be really happy with it. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you have other questions, please post them on the replay, and when I see them, I'll try to answer them for you. Okay, thanks. Bye.